Hi there, my name's Daniel. I'm from Transcona Trailer Sales. I'm going to be showing you through your 2022 Tracer 190RBSLE. We're just going to start off with the back bumper here. You just take this cap and pull it off. This is where you're going to find your sewer hose. Just take note of these 2 ears there. These are going to be the same 2 ears that hook up to your sewer outlet. I'm going to show you that in a second. We just store this in the back bumper here to keep the stench out of the unit. In this corner of the unit, as well as all 4 corners of the unit, you will find stabilizer jacks. What you're going to do with these is you're going to take a tool we have in the front compartment, and I'll show you that later on. Hook it onto the nut here, run these to the ground, give it another 1/8 turn just to snug it up, and it's going to take any sway or bounce you see we have in the unit right now. Straight up from there, you do have your water service port. Right at the bottom here, you do have a nut that just unthreads, and you'll just unthread that to drain it at the end of the season, or if you're going to be leaving the unit for a while and you don't want the water to go stale or stagnant, loosen that off, pull that off, it'll drain the hot water tank. Whenever you get to your campsite, before you fire up your hot water heater, just give this valve a pull. Right now the unit is winterized, so there's going to be no water that comes out, but if the tank were to be full, you should get a shot of water that comes out of there. That's just going to let you know that it's full. Never fire up the hot water heater unless you get that shot of water, because there is a chance that the tank will be empty. Right next to that, you do have your exterior shower, hot and cold water, as well as your city water connection. The way that works is you're going to plug a garden hose up to there. If you're at a site with service, turn on the water. It's going to pressurize all the lines, so give you no need to run your water pump. Right down from there, you do have your sewer outlet. Take that nozzle, give it a twist, pops off. It's the same 2 ears that was on your sewer hose. They just line up with the notches on the spout. Give that a turn, locks into place. You got a gray valve and you have a black valve. Your black valve is going to be your dirtiest water filled from your toilets, so you are going to want to empty that first and then follow behind it with the gray valve, which is filled from your sinks and toilets. Just a little bit cleaner water to try and rinse it down. We do have the power cord here. Just take a note of that notch there. It lines up with the notch on the trailer side. Line those 2 up, push it into place, give it a turn to lock it in. Then you got that threaded collar to really lock it down. If you follow that back, you will just have your standard 30 amp plug end. Most campsites should have this, and you should be able to plug right on in. But if you don't, if your campsite doesn't have this, it has a regular plug-in, or if you have the trailer at home and you want to run your fridge, we do include a 15 amp park adapter. Just keep in mind you are going down to 15 amps of power, so you won't be able to run something like your air conditioner. A little closer to the front of the unit is where you're going to find your fresh water fill. Stick a garden hose in there, turn on the water. It's going to start filling your fresh water tank. Once your water tank's full, there's a little vent right here. There's going to be water that squirts out of there. That's just going to be letting you know that you are charged. You are pre-wired to hook into a solar. If you want to plug in a solar panel, charge up your batteries a little bit, as well as your cable satellite inlet. And then just right down below, you do have your fresh water drain on the far right. In the middle and the left is going to be your cold and hot water lines for your low point drains for your lines. So if you're leaving the unit for a while again and you don't want the water inside the lines going stale or stagnant, you can just crack these guys open. It's going to drain all the lines of any fluid that's in there. Inside this front compartment here, you will notice that that's that 15 amp park adapter I told you about, as well as the tool to just run your jacks up and down. Just goes on there like so. One way's up, one way's down. At the front of the unit, you do have this nice little light here. Kind of illuminates a little bit of the working area if you were to want to get to your battery, which is housed inside that black box here. And then inside this black container is your propane tanks. Normally, if you want to turn them on and off, you can just gain access through this top port, but for this purpose of the video, I'm going to take this off completely. You notice that you have this selector valve here. With this selector valve pointed this way, you're going to be drawing off this tank, so you can open it on up. And you now got propane flow into the unit. If this tank were to run dry, you can just switch it over to this tank, close this tank. You can take this tank off, go and fill it while you're still running off that tank. And then you just have your front tongue jack, one way's up, one way's down. And this front compartment is just some more storage, but you do have a little motion sensing light on the wall. With it clicked to the right, it is on all the time, and with it clicked to the left, it's going to run off motion, so it'll turn off once it stops sensing motion for a little while. You do have a 110 outlet here, and do take note of this furnace exhaust. Whenever your furnace is running, it's going to be blowing out hot air. You're not going to want to have anything blocking that whenever you're running the furnace, because it does get hot. And then at the back of the trailer, you are pre-wired an observation camera up there. If you were to want to do so, you could just contact our parts department and they can get you set up with that. Get inside the unit, you just take this assist handle, lift it 90 degrees, locks into place, you'll be able to open your door. You also do have a nice little dog leash here. If you were to bring your dog with you, it gives you a place to pick them up. If you open up this door, it'll allow you access inside the unit. To get the stairs down, just grab that handle, pull it down. That'll fold the first set down, and then pull the last set down. Before you ever go operating your awning, just keep note that this door can block the awning. So always making sure your door isn't going to be blocking your awning when you're running it out, causing any damage on anything. If you step on inside the unit, you do notice your fire extinguisher is just down on your left there. That's going to be simple. Pull the pin and shoot. And then up here we kind of have our little control center. Your far left switch does your main living space lights. The one right next to it turns on the speaker lights, little blue lights on the speakers. And then the one next to that does your awning LED light. You got your awning button, so making sure that door isn't blocking the awning arm, you can push the button down. The awning's going to start making its way out. You'll know that awning's fully extended when you see the back of the metal tube and the little flap hang down. We aren't going to go all the way out today, but I will just show you that you can take any arm, front or rear. If it ever starts raining, pull down on this arm. It's going to change the pitch of the awning head, allowing the water to then run off. If you do like that angle better because it allows more shade underneath the awning, you can do the same thing to the front arm. Just always making sure you fold these arms back to straight before you bring your awning in. That way you don't run the risk of bending anything. Bring it in, it's just the same thing, just holding that in button. The awning's going to make its way in. You're going to hear it contact the side of the trailer, and that's when you know it's fully in. Slide out button. You hit and hold that button out. Slide out's going to start making its way out. You're going to know that slide out's fully extended when the motor's cut out. There you go, that slide out's fully extended. Now on the main bed space, you do have a plug on the one right side of the bed. Take note that this is your fire exit. It's going to work pretty simple. You just pull this tab, the screen's going to pop out. Take the handle, push it out, and you can hop out the unit. To get it back in, just the same thing, opposite. All the blinds in the unit do just kind of sit where you leave them. Right above your head is a smoke detector. So you just push and hold that for a test. Batteries might be dead, so we'll have to look into that after. And then you do have your antenna. You can change your antenna direction just by pushing it in and turning it. And you can use that to find your best signal. Right down below, you will notice this little black floor portal. This is where the furnace moves its air through all the floor portals. You'll see them around the unit. That's how the furnace moves its air. Whenever you're running the air conditioner, you do have two options. You can run it with these louvers open. It's going to be dumping all its air into the living space. Or you can close it and it'll move all its air through the ceiling ducting you see we have around the unit to try and move the air throughout. If you take the foot of the bed, lift it up, you will notice that you get a little, there is a little latch you can use to lock it into place if you were to want to do so, or just keep that in. Take note of that little trap door there. There's 2 screws holding that in. You pull those 2 screws out, that door will come off. That'll give you access to your water pump for winterization. In the main kitchen area, you got your sink with hot and cold water, GFI plug. You have your microwave. That's gonna be just like home, not much I'm gonna show you there. And then you do have your Furrion range hood. Whenever you are running this stove, it does run off propane. You are gonna wanna have that fan on just so it's evacuating fumes. Speaking of the fan, it vents out the roof. To operate the stove, just keep note that this top cover is glass, so it's fragile, it can break. Just take this knob, turn it over to that little flame, hit the igniter, and it does light right up. To get the stove going, it's kind of the same idea, minus the fact that you got these 2 little buttons here. You just turn those on, turns on the stove, turn it to the little flame option again, except you're holding in the knob now. Hit that igniter, and it's gonna light that pilot light you see down there. Now, sometimes it does not light that quick because it has to clear all the air out of the lines. So if it can take a few minutes to get going sometimes, and then once that pilot light is lit, you can turn it up to your desired temperature and it fires right on up. Right beside that, you do have your ever-chill fridge. Put this little, always making sure you lock that travel latch whenever you're moving the unit. That way it doesn't come flying open. The controls for your freezer are up here. So you got the coldest option, turning it to the right, with the warmer option, turning it to the left. And then the controls for the fridge are just inside here. So you do have the on-off button. So that'll be, you're holding it for 10 seconds to turn it on or off. And then by tapping the button, you're just going through your temperature control options. There you go, that turns that off. Right on the wall here, you do just have your thermostat. It's gonna work pretty simple. Hit that button and hold it. You're gonna get into your fan. Now you can turn that fan speed to a different option by just hitting the fan button. You can go from a high fan to a low fan, or a low fan to a high fan. Temperature is up and down. Hit that button again, you're gonna go into a dry mode. Now this is just gonna be trying to take all the humidity out of the air by using the air conditioner and the fan. And then you get down into cool. So now the air conditioner is gonna be moving all its air and cooling it. And then you get into the heat option. Whenever the heater fires up, it's gonna move all its air through the 4 portals I showed you earlier. There's one on this side, there should be one in the bathroom, and there's one right here. This does run off propane. Speaking of that, your LP detector is right beside that doorway there. Propane's heavier than air, it's gonna sit on the floor. If that guy starts going off, you are just gonna wanna turn off the main supply of propane to the unit and open up all the windows. To turn everything off, you just hold this power button again, and it's gonna turn everything off. Whenever your furnace is running, whenever you turn it off, it is gonna run for about 3 minutes after, just to allow itself to cool down for safety reasons. And then you got your entertainment system here. You got your stereo. That's going to be just like home, minus the fact that you got zone 1 and zone 2. Zone 1 is going to be your interior speakers, and zone 2 is going to be your exterior speakers. Some storage underneath. You will notice that you got your cable satellite outlets here. If you hit that that little button, green light's going to come on. That's just turning the antenna on the roof on. I like to leave that on while I'm at my campsite because it does improve radio frequency. And then you have your coax cables that you can plug into your TV, which will allow you to listen to sound through your sound bar. You open up the door to the bathroom here. You will notice you also have another floor register there for the heater. You've got a shower, hot and cold water, and then you do have this nice storage space, as well as the toilet. And then on the wall here, you have your monitor system with your water pump button. So if you turn that button on, it's going to turn the pump on, which draws from your fresh tank. And then you just got your battery levels. So that goes low, fair, good, and C for charging. And then you got your gray, your black, and your fresh, and that goes empty, 1/3, 2/3, and full. And then these two buttons right here, one's going to be for firing it on electric, and one's going to be for firing it on gas. It does say just on the bottom there, the far left one is going to be firing it on electric, and the far right one is going to be firing it on gas. Whenever you fire it on gas, whenever you turn the switch on, the water heater is going to try lighting itself 3 times. If on the 3rd try it doesn't light, this little red light's going to come on. At that point, you just got to turn this off and then back on to reset it, and it'll try relighting itself again. Because it's using propane, sometimes it takes a second to clear that air through the lines. That is about it for this unit here. If you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call.